Now, one starting NFL quarterback might lose his job. That's Baker Mayfield. And he might lose his job if he does not get right in the final 2 games of the season. So much is at stake for Baker Mayfield these last 2 games of the season. I'll put it like this. Everybody has salt in their cupboard. But if the salt loses its saltiness, what y'all do? Y'all throw it out because it ain't good for nothing. If a quarterback loses his ability to quarterback, then what do? You discard him because he's not good for anything. Baker Mayfield, to me, is the franchise quarterback of the Browns. I do not think Baker Mayfield is a franchise quarterback. Notice, there's a difference. To be a franchise quarterback, you can start for any team. But to be a franchise quarterback for the Browns, then you are the franchise quarterback for your team. I believe that going into the season. But as I've watched the season unfold, Baker Mayfield has shown me nothing, except for the fact that he's tough. But being tough, y'all, that's a prerequisite in the NFL. I mean, being tough is what we assume you are by playing in the NFL. Can't hang your hat on being tough. So the final 2 games of the season, Baker Mayfield has to prove that he can play well. He hasn't played well in a win for the Browns this season. He played well against the Chargers. Justin Herbert played better. So I got to see Baker Mayfield come out there, ball, and do so in a winning performance. Because if he does not do so, if he doesn't do so over the last 2 games of the season, I don't know why the Cleveland Browns would not trade him. Find somebody to take him. I don't care who you trade him for, but they're going to find somebody to take him. To me, that's what's at stake. But Joy Taylor, what's at stake for Baker Mayfield the final 2 games of the season?
Oh, yeah, everything you just said. His future in Cleveland.
You agree with me?
I know. We're agreeing on a lot today. I'm a little nervous.
On speaker.
I'm a little nervous. No, I've been a defender of Baker for a long time, mainly because, as you know, I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, where we have, lots of Lombardis. We got so many Lombardis, we don't even know where to keep them anymore. I might be in WoW before we get another one of those, but we play the Browns all the time in the AFC North. And for most of my adult life, they've been really bad. Baker has not only made them interesting and relevant, but they have been competitive. That's a different world. Mm-hmm. Now, he's had lots of head coaches, as we know, lots of adversity through the beginning of his career, which isn't entirely on him. The Browns were a dysfunctional organization for a long time. But that ain't the situation anymore. They've got a great GM. They've got a coach of the year in Kevin Stefanski. And what's most interesting about how bad Baker has been, because it's actually a pretty difficult thing to do. When you're a team that is constructed like the Cleveland Browns, and we talk a lot about the roster of the Cleveland Browns and the playmakers that they have and all of that, but they're good in the trenches. Mm-hmm. So it's really actually kind of difficult to be as bad as Baker has been when you are a team that is constructed the way that the Browns are. Everyone would love a great offensive line. Every time we talk about having a new quarterback, got to get him an offensive line. Like that you can just go to the offensive line store and buy extra offensive linemen. It's hard to build a good offensive line. They have a good offensive line in Cleveland. They have a good defensive line in Cleveland. It is really difficult to make things as hard on the Cleveland Browns as Baker has on the field when you are good in the core of what you are. They run the ball so well. You're good in the trenches on both sides of the ball, and you run the ball well, and you're still struggling this way. So now you're in the way. And I understand Baker is banged up. But here's the problem with the banged up situation. You can play hurt. You can't play injured. If you are so banged up that it is affecting your ability to play at a competent level, then you are now hurting the team. You're injured. Mm-hmm. That means you're not in the game. Because if you're on the field, you are expected to contribute to the level that you contribute.
She preaching.
Because that's what football is. Yeah. Now, me, personally, if I got anything messed up, it ain't going to be a good day for me, right? Like, I don't have my right pen. It's a disaster of a show, okay? But that's me. I'm soft. Football players have a certain level of expectation of the level they're supposed to compete at while also dealing with injuries, as you know. So it's actually pretty staggering what's happened with the Browns this year, and it is on Baker. His performance this year was supposed to be at another level. I mean, we were talking about the Cleveland Browns as Super Bowl contenders at the start of the season. Some people were. That is not the case. So, yes, his future in Cleveland is at stake over the next 2 games.
She's not lying. She threw a fit when they gave her a blue pen instead of a black pen. Back to Baker Mayfield, though. So, Baker, you made a phenomenal point. So many people are like, Baker Mayfield, he flew off the plane. Remember, the Browns lost to the Packers on Saturday. Baker Mayfield threw 4 interceptions, y'all. 4 interceptions and 36 passes. For context, Aaron Rodgers has thrown 4 interceptions and 475 passes. Aaron Rodgers has 4 interceptions this season. Baker Mayfield had 4 interceptions in one game against the Packers. Why am I bringing that up? Because people said, well, Baker Mayfield just got off the plane, Acho. He had COVID. Like, he wasn't prepared. Give him some grace. It is the National Football League. If you step on the field, you leave all the excuses on the sidelines. It's a lot of things you can bring with you onto a football field. You can bring your helmet. You can bring your cleats. You can bring a towel. You can bring your gloves. But you can't bring excuses. That's the one thing you can't bring onto a field with you, so we have to leave the excuses on the sideline. You brought up the offensive line store. I wish there was such a thing, right? Can I get one offensive tackle?
Can I get a left tackle,
two
please?
guards, please? Let me just get a side of a center. But I know this much. When you talk about stores, they teach you one thing. Don't cry over spilled milk. Some Browns people are like, well, Baker Mayfield, we already picked up his 5th-year option. It's spilled milk. They say you don't cry over spilled milk because there's no point in being upset over something you can't change. But what you can do with spilled milk is sweep it up and throw it in the trash. So Baker Mayfield, they've picked up his 5th-year option. Baker, Case Keenum, they total $25 million next year in salary. Case Keenum, the backup quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. But their salaries combined still only rank 10th in the NFL. There are 9 other starting quarterbacks that make more money than Baker and Case combined. If Baker does not ball these next 2 games, then the Browns are simply going to use him as trade bait. Some of y'all might be thinking, well, Acho, who the heck gonna trade for Baker Mayfield? Joy Taylor brought it up phenomenally last Friday on a show, I believe, saying that, like, there's a market for quarterbacks and there aren't a lot of good ones out there. If Baker doesn't play well these next 2 games, does he play another game in Cleveland next year?
I don't believe so, but the one thing that does give me pause about this Cleveland Browns situation, and I might have said it earlier this year, is that because they have been so dysfunctional and because the quarterback market is so bleak and because we know that the draft is light on quarterbacks this year, what is your alternative?
Okay.
What are you going to replace Baker Mayfield with? Now, we know Baker is struggling at the highest level. That's why we're having this conversation. He's 6-7 on the season, lost 6 of his last 9 starts, 15 touchdowns, 14 giveaways, on pace for a career low in touchdown percentage, career low in passing yards per game, passer rating since 2019. According to Pro Football Focus, he's ranked 27th in the league. Trevor Siemian, Justin Fields, and Sam Darnold are behind him. Those are not great names to be behind. Mm-hmm. That's not a group that you want to be in if you're a starting quarterback for a team that at the beginning of the year we were talking about competing for a championship, however much of a dream that might be. But because we're having that conversation about them potentially being a team that is constructed to win a championship, you can't have someone holding you back, especially at that position. But what's the alternative? Yeah. What's the alternative to Baker Mayfield? Here's
the issue, though. Yesterday I brought up this quote, and I truly live by it in part. The guy who had it good and wanted it better made it worse. The guy who had it good and wanted it better made it worse. But there's a dichotomy there. The dichotomy is good is the enemy of great. And so Baker Mayfield is good, but good will always and forever be the enemy of great. Do you sit content in a relationship with Baker Mayfield knowing that there can be better out there? But I am typically with you, Joy Taylor. Remember, I was drafted to the Cleveland Browns. My guy, Colt McCoy, backup quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals, he was our starter at the time. We drafted in the same draft as me, Brandon Weeden. Brandon Weeden could not get it done. Colt McCoy could not get it done. Johnny Manziel could not get it done. Robert Griffin could not get it done. Brady Quinn could not get it done. Tim Couch could not get it done. Jason Campbell could not get it done. Seneca Wallace could not get it done. Somebody with the last name Detmer, I don't remember which one of them it was, could not get it done. Essentially, nobody has been able to do what Baker Mayfield can do, which does lead me to believe you have it good. If you want it better, you might make it worse. But remember, y'all, in life, good is also the enemy of great.